Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have the Three Rivers Manufacturing Atlas. This is a new little slip joint from them. I'm very excited to get my hands on it because, as you guys know, it's no hiding it now. Since I've started this channel, I've bought pretty much everything that Three Rivers made. Great little company out of Massachusetts. They're kind of customs. It's hard to kind of explain, and I still don't really know exactly how to explain it. The frames and the blades are made, right away, but it is hand sharpened by R.J. Martin, and then a lot of the scales and stuff are hand finished. When you order them, because you can get a million different things. I guess you'd call it a mid-tech. It's probably the best way to describe them. But the prices don't reflect that. $124 is the base price for this if you're getting it with G10 scales. The extra scales cost more, but man, not a lot. Even these carbon scales are like, I think, 25 bucks, something like that. And then the most expensive ones, that's awesome. It did not come with these scales. The scales are easily swappable. That is kind of the party trick of a lot of TRMs. You can remove the scales with just these two screws on this side, take the pocket clip off, another two screws, bang, bang. You don't have to touch the pivot at all. It came with these, this is something that we all got when we got the first run of them. Ours came with these white linen micarta scales, which are beautiful, and I love the texturing on them, but I am a dirty boy, and I know that I would mess those up. My other two Three Rivers have micarta scales, and I love the micarta, but the white was just something that I knew I would mess up. As a matter of fact, let me show you my other TRMs here so you can see how they fit. You can see the Atlas definitely fits in that design language. This is the Viator. It's also a slip joint, but definitely not a one-hand open slip joint. It has a very stiff back spring on that one. If you can open that with one hand, you are a powerful man. And then the Neutron, a newer, I just did a review on that a little while ago, TRM. And I will say right off the bat, TRMs are a little bit hard to get a hold of. You kind of have to know when the drops are coming and look on the site and get in on it. But Blade HQ is a dealer of theirs, so Blade HQ does get everything. And you know what? This one's going to be on Blade HQ pretty soon. That's why I'm doing this review right now. They posted on Instagram that they have some on the way to Blade HQ in the next few days. So keep an eye out on the Blade HQ website. You will be able to buy this there. 124 bucks is the price for the standard version. I don't know what versions Blade HQ is going to get. And then you can go to TRM and order all kinds of different extra scales. Probably Blade HQ is going to have some in stock too, but yeah, I think that some of the G10 replacement scales are like 15 bucks. So if you just want different colors, super cheap. It's super cheap just to change around and play with it and make it look however you want. It's really cool. That's my second favorite thing about TRM. My favorite thing about TRM is the blades, which we will get to in a moment. But let's do some stats before we get too much farther. We have an overall length of 5.6 inches if you include the clip, because there's a little bit sticking out there. You have a blade length of 2.3 inches. You have a blade thickness of just 0.88 inches. Handle thickness 0.345 inches. And a weight of 1.95 ounces with these carbon scales. It was right about 2 ounces with the micarta. So very light, very small little knife. Do a few size comparisons, actually quite a few size comparisons, because let's face it, a lot of people haven't seen one of these in person, so I think it would be good to do that. First, we'll compare it to a couple of standards here. We've got your Spyderco Delica 4. It's quite a bit obviously smaller than Delica 4. It kind of dwarfs it, actually. You have your Ontario Wrap Model 2. Again, much larger. Now let's compare it to some knives that are more kind of in its size category. We have your Spyderco Little Native. Pretty similar to that in overall size, and honestly I have to say, in a lot of ways, it in my hand too, it kind of reminds me of the Little Native. Oh, your CRKT Pilar. A lot of you guys have these and you're kind of familiar with it. Again, pretty similar in size to the Pilar. And lastly, we will do, I want to keep this moving, we'll do the Line Steel Roundhead. A knife that I carry a whole lot, but it never winds up making videos or my Instagram. I don't know, it's kind of one of the unsung heroes of my EDC, I guess. That sounds like a video idea. All right, let's move on and talk more about this. Design-wise, I really like it. Like I said, they did a good job. It matches their design language. It definitely looks unmistakably like a TRM. I like the look of this opening hole here. I think it looks pretty cool. I do really enjoy, they started this with a Neutron, these new etched-in logos, and also for the markings in the back. Very, very nice. Looks really good. Quality is outstanding. It feels like an expensive custom, and it is. And I've said this about almost all of the TRMs. They just have that custom feel to them, and I really like it. It's not a terribly complicated design by any means, but I think it looks pretty cool. A nice titanium backspacer on all of them, I think, on this particular model. And I like that this is a slip joint, but it doesn't have a solid backing. It's still fairly open. They split it down the middle, just like they did with the Viator. The Viator has kind of the same thing on it. Very, very nice little design. Nice little unique feature that works pretty well. So good on them. This does have a deep carry pocket clip. That's not a common thing on Three Rivers, but on TRMs, I said I wasn't going to try and say Three Rivers on TRMs, but it is on this, and I do like it. It does stick up a little bit, but it works pretty well. We'll get to that more in a moment. As far as the blade goes, that's one of my favorite things about these. I mean, I love that you can switch the scales. That's cool as hell. But man, Three Rivers can make a blade. Very thin, slicey blade, hand sharpened by RJ Martin, and it comes so sharp out of the box. These are always the sharpest knives like I've ever gotten out of the box. The TRMs are always so sharp out of the box. It's like like you sent one away and paid somebody a lot of money to spend hours on a KME getting it sharp. They come out of the box that sharp. They're not like mirror edges or anything, but they're close to it, and they're just so freaking sharp. I love it. And the tip on this one too is not nearly as dainty as it is on some of the other ones that I have. I think it's actually probably got the most robust tip of the three. Which one I still have laying here? I put one away where I can't quite reach it. Oh, there it is. But yeah, you look at the very dainty little tip. This is on the Neutron. Same on the Viator. We're going to try and see if I can manage to hold both these side by side without cutting myself. That will be an interesting adventure for everyone involved. Start taking your bets now. But yeah, as you can see, the Atlas here on the right has a much more robust tip. So that's really nice. Because this is little knives like this, secondary knives, are ones that you bust out when you don't want to freak somebody out. So what's odd is the secondary knife in your pocket does often wind up getting more work. So I do appreciate that there's a bit more of a beefy tip on this one than there is on the others. All right, let's talk about ergonomics. It's pretty darn good. You can choke up, which is really nice. Fits in my hand very well. As I said, I have large hands but very skinny fingers. So if you have big, beefy, meat sausage fingers, then you may have more of an issue. But if I can still get a 3 3/4 finger grip on it, if I choke up and use this front choil, it's pretty comfortable. I will say I can feel that pocket clip for sure. It does stick up quite a bit, but it works. It's not like a hot spot. I can just kind of feel it. My hand just kind of rests on it. It's not a big deal. But I really like the way it feels in my hand. I think it works great. As I said, it reminds me a lot of the Little Native. It kind of fits in my hand that same sort of way. As far as the carry goes, nice deep carry clip, works great. Let's bust out the old Wranglers here, the old chopped up Wranglers. I have not tried it in that 5th pocket carry on these yet, because as you can see, I don't wear these anymore because they are 20% pants, so that would be kind of odd to try and wear these. I just have them taped to my side and they wouldn't do anything. But as you can see, completely disappears if you're using it in that pocket. How I usually carry it on my other pants is 5th pocket, like this, that little change pocket, whatever you want to call it. And yep, it seats completely down in there just fine on these Wranglers too. It's always seated on all my pants, but like just barely. Like it's definitely bottomed out, but it sits there very well. And that's how I prefer to carry it. I carry it as a secondary or as a really small primary when I really don't want someone to know that I've got a knife. So very, very nice carry on that. Deployment wise, that's my one little gripe with this. It's not it's getting better, but out of the box, I think it's just a matter of some surface that's touching some surface is a bit rough here on the inside, and it felt not gritty. I can't call it gritty. I knew right away it wasn't dirt. It's just I think there are a couple surfaces touching each other that aren't as smooth as they could be. It's breaking in really well, and it's getting a lot better. I've only had this for a week now, and it's getting better all the time. But I do love the one hand open. I think it's awesome, and I think they got the spring tension on this just right, which was a relief after the Viator, because the Viator has a very strong back spring on it, and once you got used to it, it wasn't dangerous. But it's a knife. The Viator was definitely a knife that I wouldn't hand to somebody, because you're going to chop yourself. I chopped myself with it. It had a super strong back spring. You kept pushing past the half stop and getting yourself. There's so many other things I love about the knife that I personally forgave it, but it's not a knife you want to hand to somebody else. This I'd hand to somebody else. They did a really good job. The half stop is super positive. It's really good, but as you can hear, it's just kind of, again, not gritty. It's just not a super smooth, kind of feeling. But as I said, it's wearing in really well. There's just a pin back here that's rubbing on the blade that I think is just, I think one of those two surfaces isn't quite 100% smooth. I haven't torn apart and tried to do anything about that, but it's breaking in. It'll be fine. But I do love the tension on it. They got the tension on it just right, and it's one hand open slip joint, which is kind of my favorite thing. I love one hand open slip joints. They're always a lot of fun. I've had a few of them. So have I missed anything? I don't think so. What is my conclusion on this? I really like it, and for $124, you're getting S35 VN steel, which I don't think I mentioned before. S35 VN steel, so you're getting very good steel. You're getting a very good design. You're getting pretty much fully customizable and USA made from a small company that is super fun to deal with, super cool to talk to, and it's always nice to support a U.S. business. I'm not the most patriotic guy in the world, but it is always nice to be able to do that when you can. And the price is right. It's going to be on Blade HQ. You're going to be able to get them. I'm sure they're going to go quickly, but keep an eye out for that. As I think I said, just go there and keep hitting refresh on the new arrivals. That's what I always do. Almost every morning I check that, because Blade HQ isn't always the best at saying, hey, I'm going to get them. And I'm not trying to pimp Blade HQ. That's their exclusive dealership for this. So if you want one of these, you got to go to Blade HQ or Three Rivers whenever they do another run of them, which I'm not sure when that will be. But I think they're going to have some more available on the site shortly too. I think they had some left over. But I'm not positive about that. Don't quote me on that. But it is a knife you'll be able to get if you keep your eye out. And I think it's well worth it, just to have a special knife that's legal almost everywhere. Very, very cool little knife. And I continue to be impressed by TRM. If you want to see the unboxing of this, I'll link to that. It's probably up there right about now. And you can see the package it came in and all that stuff, the little zipper pouch. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.